All right, welcome everyone to the 123rd episode of Weird Topic Finale. Well, in this episode, I have a guest here who is going to educate us about a subject that I am pretty confident and most people are very ignorant, including myself. No worries, not just you, it's myself as well. But we are gonna learn, right? So we just picture picture this through just like riding a bus somewhere to go to some kind of field trip or just traveling, traveling just to see the different country. Just use that visual frame, use that use that imagination. So I have a guest here. His name is Amrit Singh, and he is a very, very experienced Sikh, not Sheik. I pronounced that before the recording. It's a good thing we got that right. Because I just want to speak fast. There's certain pronunciations I'm not that cognizant of that, and I don't want to turn this into a big mesh of audio confusion. Life is very complicated as is. It's my job to iron as much complicated details out of this conversation as much as possible. So, welcome.
Thank you very much. Great to be on the show.
I know it's great to have you. I normally report a lot of doom and gloom when it comes to politics and technology. This will be a fine balancing act to end it off in a more light, positive, and a productive note. So before just to start this conversation, what is a Sikh?
A Sikh is a religion which comes from India. And it was a religion which was really founded out of necessity. Because especially in the north of India, where the first Sikhs come from, there was a big community of Hindus and a big community of Muslims which lived together. And how it is when you live together, your next neighbor might be a Hindu, the neighbor after that might be a Muslim, but you're all kind of human, so all live together. And then these complicated things get in the way of, like suddenly there is some rules in the religion where you can't have a meal together, where your kids can't get married, where people don't have the chance to interact as humans because of some old religious rule, which is 1,000 years old, and might have even made sense 1,000 years ago, but later doesn't make so much sense. So the Sikh religion kind of grew out of that necessity where we said, hey, don't we all believe in something which we can agree on calling God? And don't we just all believe in wanting to be better and being kind to each other and serve each other? So the founder of the Sikh religion took pieces from Islam and took pieces from the Hindu religion and put it together, and that's how Sikhism got started. And it's very much based on community, it's on helping others, on serving others, very much like Christianity and what Jesus spoke about, just about being a kind human being and not, putting up so many walls and boundaries and disconnections from the rest of us.
Well, audience, don't worry. If you didn't know what that is, neither did I. Only heard about it here and there. And mainstream media is not the best source of education and sensationalize things, even though there's some truth. The Sikh communities have been attacked multiple times for hate, fear, ignorance, ego, whatever you want to call it. I'm just learning this as well. Don't say, "Oh, Elias is an expert." No. I'm in a learning journey just with you, listeners. I am absorbing this just as much as you are. If anything, Amrit is our teacher, our guidance today. The only thing I'm guiding is just a podcast conversation. That's it. So, alrighty then. So that's great. I definitely learned something. It was something I could have sadly pieced together if I had the time to do so.
Yeah,
But
probably
hey,
the most common Sikh Americans experience is like when you watch a movie or a show and you see the typical New York taxi driver with a turban on their head, that's 100% a Sikh. Actually, when you, like, even in an airport or somewhere, when you're out on the street and you see someone wearing a turban, they're probably with 90% certainty a Sikh. There is, in many other traditions, people wear turbans too. In Islam, people wear turbans. Even in Hinduism, a couple hundred years ago, people used to wear turbans. And in Africa, the women wear turbans. So there's a lot of turban wearing in different cultures. But for us as Sikhs, for a Sikh man especially, wearing the turban is like a very clear sign of identity.
Right. So I did see them, but just my ignorance, I didn't say, "Oh, okay, it's probably a." I would thought it was a Muslim, to be honest. I was okay, probably Muslim or some other different religion. Sadly, like I said, I didn't pay much attention to that. But enough about me. I already established my ignorance, but I'm open to learn about see, because I started learning more about these guys after sadly through the mainstream media, through the attacks of you get attacked, and for the most part, I see Sikhs as mostly peaceful people. I mean, this is something that should be established among other groups of people, like the Buddhists. I see them too, but even though they, sadly, the New York ones I'm very critical of. They try to jip me with money or whatever for their cheap little Julia card or whatever nonsense that they try to sell. Not all Buddhists, just the New York ones I've encountered. I'm sure that's not all of you.
I'm sure.
And I mean, Hindis, I have a nice conversation with a couple of them, and good amount of Muslims too. Sadly, especially with the early 2000s, there was a lot of Islamophobia, especially with the terrorist attacks that
Right,
really
yeah.
went through. And I won't be surprised if Sikh was even lumped. Just like
Oh,
I've
yeah.
said,
We were targeted. Someone was killed, was shot at a gas station while they were filling up their car just for having a beard and a turban. And the man who killed him, unfortunately, not understanding and just thinking he got one of those terrorists. That was someone from a different religion.
right. Sadly, it's very, very unfortunate. Yep, sadly, it's a beard, a turban. Up, terrorists just lumping everybody together just based on physical characteristics. And that breeds a lot of ignorant and sometimes hate. I mean, ignorance is not bad by itself, but if it's not taken care of, it could be breed into fear and hate.
It's definitely a challenging thing, and it did get better in the United States. I still remember 20 years ago when I would travel with my beard and turban and my whole Indian outfit, and I got into the airport in the US, and there was 1,000 people who entered at the same time, and the big black dude and I got pulled aside for random screening. So there was. But when you look like that, you kind of expect it. So.
All right. Well, you try to do some of that. Well, in today's America, you try to do that. Oh, you get called all kinds of names, and some people call you out. So it's kind of like the pendulum swung the other
Things
way.
have changed. Yeah, yeah.
Oh no, yeah, you're right about that. I put it in its proper place. I don't want to promote anything that's fake. But yep, there was a lot of improvement. Especially from early
Yep.
2000s to now, there's definitely a lot of improvement. I mean, if you want to deny that, that's up to you. But you drink your own Kool-Aid. Um, so all right, let's see what else I got here. You practice a type of yoga that I'm definitely not familiar with. How you pronounce it? Kundalini?
Kundalini.
Kundalini. Or so
Kundalini. Yeah.
So you practice
It
Kundalini.
translates. It comes from the old Indian language, the Sanskrit language, which is 5,000 years old. And it based on the Kundalini energy, which is like a serpent coiled up on the base of your spine. And that energy releases through the practice of the yoga and then rises up through the spine into the higher centers. And so that's the general idea of the practice. It's very different from the regular yoga you see on TV, which is a lot about stretching and being really skinny and pretty and having a nice looking butt, and especially for the ladies. And all the guys look really good too. So this kind of yoga is much more a preparation for deep meditation. So we use the yoga so we can go deeper in our meditative practice.
Okay. Wow, and you ready to beat me to that question. What's the difference between regular, but you answered that very, very well. It's not just modeling and looking good. Ooh, I could stretch. Look at my, this is a more nice segment. If it was political or technology, I would have been cursing and ranting already. This is just maintain the doom and gloom and hell and all of that. But they're nice back, they're nice abs, they're nice whatever, nice skin, and they kind of show off with their stretches and all of that. I mean, me, I'm kind of a overweight person. I said, well, I can still break you into two. I gotta do the sit on you, so just to make myself feel good. It's not the most productive way to react, but I'm just being.
And the cool
really
thing
honest.
is, you could actually do some Kundalini yoga because it is designed in a way for anyone to practice, no matter if you're 8 years old or 80, or if you're overweight or underweight, or you have only one arm or whatever. You can still do the practice because it's all designed to combine with a very aware breathing technique and some simple movements in the body. We also do have some more complicated exercises, but there is a lot really tailored for beginners.
Okay, that is excellent. So, what are the health benefits of Kundalini yoga?
Well, there's a lot. I mean, we could go for hours probably explaining all the different levels. But the two I would focus on the most is really the health benefit to your nervous system and to your endocrine system. Because when your nervous system is in good shape, you feel amazing. Same as more of us probably know the other way around. When our nervous system is in bad shape and we are completely, strung out and overstimulated or whatever it is, and you can't even form a straight thought anymore. You just need to go to sleep or take a shower, do something to just remove yourself from the situation, right? So that's a very common thing when the nervous system is off. And the endocrine system is something we all kind of remember from our teenage years. Like we grow up, you're a kid, everything is okay, and then suddenly those hormones kick in and everything is haywire, and you're having all these physical experiences and emotional experiences and all these new thoughts which you don't know where to put. And I mean, that's when your hormonal system is off. And so again, one of the things we all have experienced when you exercise, that's, for example, one way to recalibrate your hormones in your body. When you sleep, that helps recalibrate your hormones. When you eat healthy, those kinds of things. And so this is what Kundalini yoga does. It goes very specifically into what can we do to serve and rebalance the nervous system, and what can we do to rebalance the hormonal system. Because if those two are in balance, you just feel much better.
No, I'm happy you prioritize those two because this country, America, I can say for sure, we need that. We need that bad. I mean, I'm sure because you have experience working in Germany, India, Mexico, and even United States, based on your bio, and I believe that because especially some of the testimonials and when I screen through, is this guy's actually international. Good, better for me. And my little logo picture there has the blank version of the UN. So this is say, hey, it's gonna be an international podcast sometimes. So that's actually I didn't intend for that to happen, but hey, it's great. I'm not gonna complain. It's I'll be an idiot to do so. So a question I had popping up, and I actually had this question before. What inspired to start this spiritual journey? Could have been just a regular German guy, doing regular people stuff, or just, I don't know, be a speaker, whatever. What inspired to go on this journey?
Well, for me, it started early. And I think it really started when I realized, hey, I feel like there's more out there in the world. And it actually started for me when I started smoking weed. because suddenly my mind expanded and I was like, oh my God, like there is all these areas out there which I was able to experience. But then the downside of smoking weed is you're stoned, right? And so that doesn't really go so well with the spiritual exploration. And so when I started practicing Kundalini yoga, I started having similar experiences I got from using the drugs through my physical body and through my practice and in a healthy way. And I was like, oh, wow, this is interesting. So you can have these experience in a healthy and in a natural way. You don't have to, drug yourself to get to the same point. And so for me, that was the starting point where I said, like, okay, I want to know more about this technique of yoga because it's doing something good for me.
That's phenomenal. I'm telling you, with the spiritual power, I mean, you could start doing something that's unhealthy or a bit off track, and then look at you land on the right spot. I mean, if it was just pure logic, you would have been just a lazy pothead in America.
Oh
And
yeah, totally.
yes, just going in the just in the natural world. But this is not the first time I've heard of that. But sadly, I never experienced it when I consumed some cannabis based or even smoked pot myself. But you know what? It's fine. Everyone's spiritual journey is unique, and that's the
Yeah,
main
exactly.
point. I mean, mine personally didn't start until, and this was me going through depression for 2 years. Then that's when I started going on my spiritual journey. But it's funny, the bad things, if you pay enough attention, or it's just some kind of divine force pushing the right direction, you can find it unlikely places. Weed, depression. I mean, I almost committed suicide, so that's when I started.
Wow. Yeah, that's heavy.
So, just I mean, I'm not gonna repeat too much about it. I already kind of went on depth about that. And that's by plugging for a previous episode. Especially with the conservative commentary, I want to brief about the depression, and I didn't want. I think the other one I talked about suicide. So it's spread all over the place. So that's why I got to pay attention to all my episodes. I do that on purpose, so there'll be no easy cheat sheet. Look, I'm exposing myself out there. No, no, but I'm actually great that I'm in the Christian path, and I don't believe in just because you seek the enemy, beat you up with the Bible. Hey. you know, I don't. I just believe have a conversation, and God is pretty universal too. We tend to forget that. God or what's the other one? The Allah or Buddha, whatever it is, right? You're trying to
It really
find
doesn't
the
matter
record,
what name tag you put on it. It's
right?
so much bigger than that.
Right. He goes by many, many names. So I mean, he has to be universal. I mean, it won't make sense if he's not interested in saving humanity.
Oh
That's
yeah.
why. So, alrighty then. Enough of pumping myself up a little bit spiritually. Um, So about your work, and you say you help people create financial freedom, especially doing something that they love. That's interesting because, of course, especially corporate America culture. Okay, you make good money, but some people are miserable. How does that work through
Yeah,
your work?
this exactly this corporate attitude, and it's a little bit what we picked up from our parents, who came kind of after this after war culture. It was much more in Germany like that, where it was like, hey, it doesn't matter, just get a good job and work really, really hard. And don't worry about if you like it or if you have a passion for it or if it fulfills your heart or it expands you. As long as you can feed your family and pay off your house and have a nice car, it's all good. So don't worry about it too much. And that worked for our parents. But for us, for our generation, it was a little bit like, okay, is there more? Like, what do I want with all this money if it's like, if I'm miserable in the process? And so in my coaching, I work with my clients to really say, okay, let's figure this out. What is it what you're passionate about? What do you want to do? What is your gifts which you can give back to the world? And then in this intersection between passion and where you're qualified, that's where you can find a point which is very easily usually um, able to be transformed into something that makes you money. And then the cool thing is, then you're making money with something you enjoy doing, and then you sit there for 5 hours and it doesn't feel like work, and you still get paid. And so it's a much easier way to, to get to what you want and to put in those 5 hours, 10 hours, 12 hours in the beginning, whatever, if you're building something new, but putting it in with passion and with joy, and because you want it and you feel how what your gift is serves the world.
Yes. I mean, personally, I cannot argue with that because I'm in a job role where I enjoy actually my work. In a lot of ways, it's actually tougher than my previous job, but it's the joy, the passion of it. It doesn't feel like work half the
Mhm.
time. It really,
Exactly.
it's not. I mean, no job is perfect, but it's a lot better than the previous job that I have. I mean, well, my shift was 7 hours. Long story short, that 7 hours would feel like a year.
Exactly.
Dreading, just going through. Oh goodness, when is this gonna end? And now I go to work the 7 hours, even 8 to 10 hours max. It doesn't feel so overwhelming. It actually feels good, especially when it's accomplished or done right. I come home feeling well, even recharged, even. So that part's
Yeah.
phenomenal.
Makes total sense. And that's that's where the joy comes in, and where that's how you want to live, right? And then going to work is a fun activity rather than a dreadful thing where you trade your time or your life force or your life energy, like the time you have left on this planet, you trade it for money, and then use that money to go buy stuff, and then it becomes this circle of, oh my god, do I really want to have this big house? Do I need this car? And then you start resenting things because it's this sucking of your life force every day at work. And so that's usually like in the beginning of my coachings, where I work with people and say, like, do you enjoy what you do? Because if you don't, what would you enjoy? And then it gets interesting.
Oh yeah, so people take this with face value. I'm just asking you. I'm not going to force you, but just take it with face value. And even though some of your older folks, I'm sure you have sons and daughters that are going to need this. So don't worry. We're going to guide you to somewhere where you could get some of his services, or maybe even all. It depends how generous Amrit wants to be. No, I'm kidding. He's a generous person. Um, Me, I can't. I've been pretty generous sharing a lot of this podcast content for free. So just, you gotta pay $5 to enter this segment and just do a bunch of paywalls. I don't feel worthy of doing that, and I don't think I'm gonna do that. I think ads and just people just going there for free is good enough. And I got other ways to make money as well, so I just don't rely on this. So based on what I, the thing I noticed was interesting that it seems like you help mostly young adults. You help older people as well.
I started with young adults, and that was kind of my passion because when I lived in India, I worked with teenagers, and then I stayed in touch with them, and then they became young adults, and I saw them struggling in this time, especially around like 25, 28, when you suddenly realize that you don't want to be reliable on mom and dad for the rest of your life, but you want to stand on your own feet. And it it quickly, I realized that there's so many more people out there who want to work with me. And so I open it up, and right now most of my clients are actually older. I still have a couple from my early days, but like it changes, like the clientele changes the way you as a coach change. And so I found that I work much more now with people of my age, around 45, 50, and I got a lot of men who are working with me who are working on opening up and learning about yoga and meditation and connecting to the emotions and just realizing that there is more in this world than just going to work and bringing the money home and then drinking a beer at night and then going to sleep and repeating that the next day again.
Yeah, sadly repeating that for years, and it's it can be very very detrimental. Let's just put it that way. And I'm sure you have encountered that with
Oh
your
yeah.
massive clientele.
Not
And
just with my clients, with myself too. I've been there, I've experienced it, and I know how detrimental it is and how it sneaks up on you. How it's like, oh wow, it's not a big deal. You just like, drink a couple of beers and watch some TV, and I could get up if I wanted to. But then after like a year or two or five, it's much harder to get up and change your patterns, right?
oh yeah, it's so true. I mean, just to open up a little more. That's why this is a new one, so I'm gonna go a little bit in depth. I used to have an addiction to video games, and that addiction lasted for a while because that was my coping mechanism to get away from this crazy, dark, and fallen world. I don't want to deal with that anymore. Leave me the hell alone. That was just my escape, and that started developing when I was especially 15. So this is a connection to my depression I just mentioned. So this was my escape, and I played it for 5 to 8 hours per day. That's way too much. I would say the most healthy. I think time duration for a healthy video game should be 1 2 hours. Unless you're a streamer, and that's a whole different story. That's a career, but you still need to balance that. The point of balance doesn't get obsolete. It never does. Um, and I did that all the way till I was, I think, 21. So it was 6 years of that. It was not easy at all, especially when I started having more responsibilities. But it's a good thing I started getting these more responsibilities, being more independent, being grown. Because if life didn't get more demanding or challenging, I mean, I am in my early 30s already. So I could have just done the same thing, just go work, play a video game, have very low sleep, and just do that. But I'm happy that I made that habit because it opens up time for me to do productive things and be more available for my family, for friends, and all that. I don't know how. Yeah, I managed that. The only reason I was able to manage it because I said, you know what, this has to stop. I'm not going to be a streamer. I'm not going to be a game content creator, whatever it is that YouTubers, Twitch, and Twitter, all these people do. Well, actually, no, Twitter doesn't do much. They just promote it through little tweets. Twitch, Rumble. I said, no, I'm not gonna. That's not gonna be my career. So I had to come to that realization, own it up. It's tough, but it's needed. So yeah, it's tough, but it's needed. You gotta have tough and honest conversations with yourself, and then if yourself's not good enough, have someone who you could trust. That's all I could say without going long winded into the issues. But yeah, I did have those kind of. Yeah, I did have the video game addiction. It was pretty bad.
Yeah, totally. And I can relate. I've been there too. I've been addicted to video games and I experienced that. And I experienced how, they are designed to be addictive. Same as social media, same as all these things we're addicted to. The reason they're addictive is because someone really spent a lot of money and had a big team to make it as addictive as possible for the human brain. So I think also an important thing is to have that compassion with ourselves, how easy it is to be pulled in, and that why my brain wants to be on the phone for 4 hours straight rather than go outside and walk and enjoy the sunshine and be in nature for a little bit is because they figured it out how to trick my brain into thinking that. So that's the same what happens with cocaine or heroin or any of these hyper addictive substances. It just tricks your brain into wanting more of it.
Yeah, I consider social media to be the biggest drug, period. Not I mean, the substances are too, but the biggest drug, because even non-drug users get addicted to this lovely device here,
Oh yeah.
and sadly for audio people, this is this purple phone with a earbud in there. So this is an audio episode. Sadly, I gotta be this descriptive, but the smartphone is, I like how one financier put it, the weapon of mass distraction.
Oh yeah.
WMD. I mean, it was brilliant. I said, I
I
have to
like
take
that.
that. I'm stealing that from you. That's amazing. I'm taking that one for you. So okay, that's fine by me. It says don't copyright it. Forget it. It'd be a whole legal challenge if that was the case. But yeah, I mean, that is the biggest drug. Not, I mean, cocaine and all that is bad too. I'm not saying they're good, but the smartphone, even non-drug users are addicted to it. Man,
Oh,
I
yeah.
think about billion, yeah, about billions of people,
And
billions.
it's
Yeah,
so
we
much
we
more practical than the television, which was a big source of addiction for the generation before us. But this television you have in your pocket at all times, you can pull it out 100 times a day while you sit on the train, while you're waiting for 2 minutes in the car for your friend to come down the stairs, right? You've got your phone out and you're on there doing something. It's wild.
yeah, that's yeah, smartphone. Yes, I have my Netflix in there. So okay, so if well, sadly, this is not the best way to deal with patients unless you're doing, I don't know, some meditative app or something. Replace that with Netflix, Hulu, Disney Plus, Paramount Plus. I know a lot of these streams because HBO Max. Yeah, do some meditative apps. I'm sure there's some in there. Use your brain to use your phone more productively. I mean, I don't consider it a bad tool itself, just how it's used, because it's a great tool to be productive if you do the right things
It's a
with
great
it.
tool, exactly. Yeah.
But sadly, as addictive, we are sensitive to addictions, and yeah, we are just very sensitive, and yep, and these developers have find the near perfect way to get billions of people addicted. You're absolutely right about that. I read on articles how that was actually intentional
Of
to
course.
make
Yeah.
it
That's where the
very,
money
very
is, right? Every minute you spend on there, you make more money.
right, right, right. I mean, well, then looks like Facebook is have laid off. Oh, they laid off so many people. Facebook, I gotta repeat that again, 'cause I think the search got a little bad. Facebook has laid off so many people already. They have like about 11,000 workforce. I think they already laid off like about thousands of them because they're not making as much money. This whole metaverse gamble, I'm calling it. They losing so much money. Mark Zuckerberg said, "Oh, don't worry. The long term is going to be well." Investors don't care about long term; they want to make money now or yesterday, preferably. So, do you may be a genius in social media, but in terms of handling business, you are not the best. Just because you're a genius of creating the product, it doesn't mean you're. I won't say the best. I mean, who am I to judge? I'm not even a billionaire yet, so it's a blasphemic. This a lies. He's poor, a bum compared to Zuckerberg. How dare you criticize him?
I like
That's
how
a
you
look.
said, I'm not a billionaire yet. That's very good. That's like the kind of coaching language we practice. We're talking about ourselves. It's a good thing to add that yet.
Yeah. Oh, look at that. You expose me right there. That's a little subtle thing. A little subtle thing. Yes, I have. I've been programming my mind and thinking, and even I don't think being rich is evil. It's just what you do with that money that makes it I'm very, very evil.
Oh, yeah. There's a
That's a
lot of
camp.
good you can do with money.
There's a lot of good. And to me, the money is extensions of the person. So the person is cruel, evil. They will have a criminal empire, or keep selling these illegal substances, or have a much better mechanism, or more organized cartels to do that. Or a very more generous person will probably open up, I don't know, maybe shelters or something, or even start a business to help people with particular problems. And
Yeah.
there's a market out there if you know how to brand yourself right. So that's what I could say for that. Is well, it's already about to be almost 12. So let me command. Look at that. Let me use harsh language. Command them to go here. So, dear listeners, go to coachingnow.info. That is CoachingNow dot info. INFO. You're gonna get a free 30-minute session. All right. And this could be a beginning of your big transformation. This is probably the void you need to fill. Possibly, just possibly. This could be the void. Anything else you want to add? Amrit, I don't
Yeah,
want to
I mean,
butcher.
thanks for saying this, because I really think a lot of people tend to not dare to take advantage of this. But I really want to extend myself and say, like, look, this 30 minutes of my time is my gift to you to see, if I can maybe serve you in the future. I'm not going to hard sell you. I'm not going to twist your arm and be like, yeah, give me your credit card before you get off the call. No, this is really me giving back, because what I found is the more I serve and the more I give back, especially when I do it for free, the more good things come back to me, and then out of 10 people I serve, maybe 5 become clients, and that's awesome. And the other 5 get a ton of value maybe out of the call. And that's fine too, because I ended up being able to serve 10 people. And so, the more of you take advantage of it, the happier I will be. So please do, if you're on the fence about it and you think like, oh, I was always curious about what a coach is about, and I kind of like what I heard here, let's just get on the phone for 10 minutes and chat. And if it's not a fit, then it's not a fit. And if it is, then we'll talk in more detail.
That's more reason for you to go. He is not hard selling you. He is not demanding a credit card worth thousands of dollars. He's saying it's up to you. Give it a try. Give it a try. Come on, free 30 minutes. What's the big risk? Just a little bit of waste of time and energy. Oh, big deal. We waste time and energy in a bunch of stupid stuff like that streaming and going on YouTube so much. Cut that addiction by at least 1%. You never, this could be a transformation you're waiting for. So he's not hard selling you. He's not, virtually pointing a gun to your head and asking for a check worth millions and millions of dollars. So I mean, that's a sign of a true spiritual person. A hard seller is, I would frankly call them the devil. So, anything else you want to add before I wrap this up?
If you want to learn a little bit more about what I do, together with my colleague, Dr. Katar, we started a TikTok channel. So in case any of you like TikTok or you're on TikTok, you can look us up. We're Whole Self Recovery. So the 3 words just put together, whole, self, and recovery. You can find us on TikTok, and we'll try to post something inspirational every day and just put some fun little stories from our journey together. And so that might be fun for some people to look at.
Oh, TikTok they need way more of this, because there's a bunch of mentally ill things be promoting TikTok. I mean, it's no secret to my listeners that I am so anti TikTok. Even my friends, they know, no, don't get me into TikTok. There's even national security concerns. Okay, I'm about to get political. Okay, let me stop. This is supposed to be a lighthearted thing. No, but not for my sake, for Amrit's sake. He also has a Facebook and an Instagram chat. Oh, of course, his own website as well. I will put all those links in the description. All those links will be there. He has other social medias as well. TikTok needs a lot more of this. They need a lot more of this spiritual, inspirational stuff. And that's where the China version is getting at. Don't call me conspiracy theorist. I can prove this. I can prove this. I can debunk it. I can make you look stupid. China's already doing inspirational stuff with their version of TikTok, while the West is getting garbage and getting conspiracy theories, misinformation, hyper politicalization. No, be inspirational. Use it productively, all right? If you want to be addicted, at least be addicted to the right thing, all right? At least. So, oh man. All right. Actually, so all righty. That's
awesome.
all.
Thank you very much for having me and for being such a great host. I really enjoyed being on your show. And yeah, hope we stay in touch and connect again at some point in the future.
I believe that. Well, I'm gonna keep you on my main messages because I'm pretty sure this is not gonna be a one-time thing. I can already foresee that. I just hope as long as you're a little responsive to my call, that's all I ask. And don't worry, this part of the conversation is gonna be cut off because they'll need to know this. So, well, we're gonna have this is gonna definitely be part one of probably part 2 or 3 or whatever it goes. I don't know. I don't, I only plan until like 3 months advance at most. So, and this is not, this is not just one time. Okay, yoga. Okay, great. I'm equal to God. No, this is a continual process. This is a continual process, and I will definitely want to invite Amrit again. I knew the conversations could be great, but it was even better than I thought, and I already had a pretty high expectation. So that's definitely saying a lot. So, alrighty, with that out of the way, we have no more conversation here because we are both busy people. It's not that I hate him or he hates me. So we're just very, very busy people. So,
Well,
you
thank
can
you for
tell
your time and thank you for your kind words. I really enjoyed it.